Hello, Women of the Channel Leadership Network. I'm Jackie Rives, your community leader, and welcome to another Woman of the Week. Today with me, I have Tami Beach, Vice President of U.S. Consumer and Supply Channel Sales with HP. Hi, Tami. We are so excited to have you with us today.
Hi, I am excited to be here and so nice to meet you.
Very nice meeting you too. We're going to dive right into those icebreaker questions so we can get to know you better. Where do you live and where did you grow up if that's different?
It's not different. I'm from Idaho and I grew up in Idaho. I live here now. I lived in Southern Idaho growing up. Well, I still live in Southern Idaho. I live in Boise. But when I was growing up, we moved around Southern Idaho quite a bit, probably about every 3 years. My dad worked for Idaho Power, and so we followed him around where his career took him, which was also kind of fun. He was my kind of what I looked to in terms of what I wanted to be in my career. So when I was young, I wanted to drive a bucket truck and be a lineman. So
I love it. I love it. Okay, what is a little known fact about you that you're willing to share with just a few of our closest friends here?
Sure. So I secretly would like to be a baker. And a lot of people, when I say this, are like, what are you even talking about? Because if you know me, you know I don't spend any time in the kitchen and I really don't have any really good cooking skills, let alone baking, which seems to be a little bit tougher. So I kind of pretend, and so to kind of scratch that itch, I play cooking games, and I consider myself kind of a competitive Play-Doh cake artist.
Okay.
So there's some really cool YouTube videos out there, and during COVID, my girls and I would have Play-Doh cake making contests. So that became something that I felt like I could actually achieve my baking goals by using Play-Doh instead of
I think that's so fun. I love it. Yeah, I don't think I could decorate a cake very well, but give me some Play-Doh. I might be able to get a little creative there.
Exactly.
I love it.
There's very little risk associated with baking with Play-Doh. So
I'm there for it. I love it. What a fantastic and creative and innovative way to take something that you are passionate about and the idea and put it towards something that would make you, get to play around with that
yeah.
and be successful.
Yes, exactly.
I like it.
At least maybe I'll send you some of the photos after our interview.
Yeah, I love it. You'll have to share some of those.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's pivot to what is the most important risk you took and why?
Well, my husband and I actually took a very, very big risk early in our marriage. Maybe not early in our marriage, but early in my career. We were both working professionals. I was at HP. I've been at HP about 27 years. And
Wow.
my husband was at Micron. And we had two daughters at the time, and we're expecting a third. And the girls are all 5 years apart. And so we had really a range of ages, 10, 5, and newborn, that required very, very different things. He was working, rotating to night shifts every 6 months. And so he would work nights. And I was also starting to increase my travel. So it was becoming more and more difficult to balance all three of these girls, their different needs at their different ages, and two careers. So we made a decision one night. We didn't even really think about it a lot, to be honest, that one of us needed to stay home. And that was going to be him. I knew that was not really my future, but he was so happy and excited to do it. And that was 19 years ago. And so he has been home since our youngest was born. He does a phenomenal job. I've become pretty much irrelevant in terms of running the household and, through school, the teachers and the homework and the friends and the doctor's appointments. He did all of that. So I was able to really grow my career without having to worry about if the girls were getting what they needed. The outcome of that is now three just wonderfully bright and stable. Had I stayed home, maybe they would have had a few more issues, but just really, independent and fun adults that we've raised. And, this was a big financial decision for us to make at the time, and we didn't spend a lot of time doing it. We figured we'd work it out. And
Mm-hmm.
and we were able to do that and raise them and put them through college without debt, which is something that we're pretty proud of. So
Wow, that is a lot to be proud of.
yes,
What
thank
an
you.
amazing story. I love that you shared that. And that you were, just able to accomplish your goals still in the end of probably what you thought you could accomplish probably more easily with two career household.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah, yeah,
that's
for
amazing.
sure, for sure. And it was an easy decision for us, and we made it work really well. But there was not a lot of at the time, a lot of people that did this,
Mm-hmm.
and so he had to be willing to be the only dad in the classroom or at the bus stop or at parent teacher conferences, and he was, and it was never a thing for us, even though the outside world was kind of making it a thing.
Yeah.
And so, but we've really, we really, we're both willing to do it, and we're able to work it out in a way that it turned out really well for us.
Yeah. And you're, kind of groundbreaking and setting that as a role model of like this can work this way.
Yes.
Um, so I love that. And I love that you said we really didn't really care what the outside world thought. This is what was right for us.
Right.
So that's amazing. I love that. Have you ever questioned your abilities or qualifications? And if so, how did you overcome that?
Yeah. Great question. And the honest truth is that I fear that all the time. I'm naturally curious, so I tend to seek opportunities
Mm-hmm.
that are new and different. And so I'm constantly feeling like I am not qualified to be doing this. And but that fear kind of drives me, I'll be honest. The challenge drives me, to be able to not to prove to anyone else, but to prove to myself that I can do this. And so because of that curiosity and because of the growth mindset that I have, that is like, I feel like I can do most anything that I have time to practice and to prepare for. And I've been able to do that throughout my career. And so that's given me confidence that I can continue to keep doing it. And so it's just kind of one of those things that I feel, probably 75% of the time, but I feel like I also successfully manage it because it's a state that I'm used to. And I've always, and because I've been able to kind of prove to myself that I can do it, that I am capable of getting through it and being as qualified as I need to be to get something done.
Absolutely. I always love that question because it's a good reminder, especially to those who may be younger in their career, mid-level, or just feel like, oh, she's a VP, she has it all together, she knows exactly what she's doing, but like, you've got that, duck who's coasting on the water and their feet are just paddling like crazy underneath, like, no, we don't have it all together, figuring things out. I love that that's actually something that drives you too. That's pretty cool. So you can use that feeling for good, of your own growth. So great reminder. Love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, how do you continue to grow as and develop as a leader?
So I spend a lot of time self-reflecting. I spend a lot of time thinking about, how not just my macro level strengths and weaknesses and how do I work on those, but every day thinking about, okay, what did I learn today? What did I do well? What did I not? And I would suggest to journal. And when I mentor people, I suggest to journal this. I don't practice that very well, but I do spend, as I'm getting ready for bed or I'm doing something that doesn't require other thinking. I will think about things like, okay, or I might have this meeting that I'm going to. What am I supposed to be learning there? And so so it can also come in the form of what I do every day, or those macro level kind of reflections of what are the things that I need to work on to improve this year. And so also through that process is gathering feedback. So not only reflecting on what I think, but hearing what others think
That's
is
great advice.
helpful. And I think that the big part of that process is knowing how to separate what's valuable and what's not valuable feedback. A lot of times in my career, I've gotten feedback that really like set me back years, right, in my confidence,
Yeah. Yeah.
because I didn't recognize that this was from somebody that was worthy of giving that feedback, and that feedback was accurate, and that feedback was meaningful and relevant to what I needed to hear to make myself a better leader and person in general. So I think the self-reflection is important, inclusive of feedback. I think that continuous learning, of course, again, I said I'm curious by nature. And that might take the form of taking a class or teaching a class, or going to an event or a conference or something like that, listening to speakers and podcasts and those things. But again, I kind of use that in my daily life when I'm sitting in a meeting and I'm thinking, okay, what am I supposed to be learning here? What am I supposed to be teaching here? What am somebody says a word that I don't know what it is, I'm automatically, out to Google or Chat GPT now and finding out what is this. And sometimes that will take me down a whole path of learning something completely new because somebody said it in a meeting. So, and then I find that I use those things in leading people and building teams and mentoring people, and observation. And maybe that's all just part of self-reflection and continuous learning as well. But observing the things that that and styles that I think are, feel like something that I could do or something that I wouldn't want to do. So
Yes.
kind of the things that I want to aspire to, and equally the things that I don't want to ever do, because it just wouldn't be my style or isn't the kind of
Yeah.
thing that I would want to be.
Right. Right. Those are some really, really great tips. For me, the one that hit home the most was understanding the feedback you're receiving,
Mm.
intention, where it's coming from. You know, it's not black and white fact, and just looking at that from different perspectives. Because yes, you took me back to many, many years ago. And yeah, I mean, if you don't step back and reflect and evaluate it, yes, it could set you down,
It can be
just not a
crushing,
good, yeah, it could be very
you know.
crushing.
Yeah. Sometimes
Absolutely.
leaders don't realize how impactful their words can be. I think
Mm-hmm.
parenting is like this, right?
Sure.
That you say something that you think is a minor thing, and you don't even think about it the minute after you said it. And then but the person who received it lives with it. Maybe it's a
Indefinitely.
week, a month,
Yeah.
or maybe it's years. So
Yeah.
I do think that we have to be careful about the things we say and the coaching and the feedback that we give, so that and again, as receivers and as we grow and mature, we learn how to take it and how to dismiss what's not going to be important to us.
Yeah. I love that. All right. I think we have time for one more. So, how about sharing with us a business accomplishment you're most proud of?
Okay. I am going to say it's not a single thing, but it is just the leader that I'm becoming. I was in when I got this recent promotion. So my new role, or my role here, is relatively new. In fact, my start date is February 1st. So it's
Well,
that
this is airing after that. So,
okay.
congratulations.
Thank you. It's going well. It's going so well. Um, no, so I'm super excited to get it started. I'm already kind of in the transition phase right now, but I received a lot of people reaching out and congratulating me. And that was humbling and super cool. But what I really picked up on was that so many of them said, congratulations, it is so well deserved. You are so deserving. And I reflected on that word and I kept thinking, because the word made me feel really, really good
Mm-hmm.
and really accomplished. And I was reflecting back to a time earlier in my career where somebody said that I needed to be a leader with style and substance. And like I do, I took those words and I was like, okay, how am I going to manifest these words? How am I going to take this and become this leader? Because it resonated with me. I thought, okay, that's kind of a cool brand or tagline for leadership style. And so, as I think about the style that I lead with, which is, I try to be genuine and compassionate and empathetic and vulnerable and prepared and show
Mm-hmm.
up. That's kind of, to me, the style that I wanted to manifest and deliver. The substance, know my business, know my numbers, deliver to my commitments, be able to picture the, be able to see the bigger picture, but also be able to execute, and get things done. Those are the things that I think give me substance. And when I heard, and when I was getting this feedback that it was deserving, it felt like I had achieved what I set out to achieve. Still have more to do, but
Sure.
it felt I was pretty proud in that moment.
Well, we're so excited for you. I can't, we can't wait to see what you do in your new role. I'm sure it's going to be amazing things. It's been so great getting to know you today, Tammy. So thank you again for sharing just a little bit of your story and insights with all of us here.
Of course. Thank you for having me. It's been fun.
All right. Women of the Channel community, that was your Woman of the Week. Please be sure to continue the conversation, comment, share your insights with Tammy as we continue the conversation and just pour into one another. So until next time, happy Wednesday.